The Mystery of BELICENA VILLCA. Second Book. The Letter of BELICENA VILLCA. 55th Day. In a very similar manner to the cassettes of King Nimrod, the Vikings of Greenland behaved in the 14th century, Dr. Signal. For this reason, the demons of Changshampala sent Quiblin there, in the year 1447, to close the gates of Tulle that they had opened. After the return to Lisbon, when he fulfilled his mission with success, Quiblin was prepared for his next great step. Sail towards the west, to the gates of the earthly paradise, and the Caterega. To the first, he should open, and dissimulate to be only employed by the members of the chosen people, and their allies, the Gullenes. To the second, another door of Tulle, he should close definitely. The door of the Caterega, or Agartha, was the same that the White Atlantans reached thousands of years before, marching towards the east, and which in the medieval maps appeared as country of Caterega, would be now approached inversely from the west, and its entrance sealed by means of the Kabbalistic use of the Zephyret. After the mission of Quiblin, Caterega would disappear forever from the Occidental culture. What is the same, Caterega would disappear. The house of Tharsis had thus borrowed time to perceive the lithic sign in the stone of Venus, and departure towards the abode of the liberator gods. About the gates of Caterega, located in the extreme Occident, I'll tell you that 4 open doors existed in the age of Quiblin, 3 in America, and 1 in the Antarctica. From the 3 Americans, Quiblin only achieved to close the central door, the most direct, and the one that the White Atlantans took, which was located in the Bermuda Triangle. The one of the north was searched later vainly by the members of the chosen people, but it was never found, because the Redskins, guardian race, were in charge to dissimulate it, and they protected it very well. Analogously to the door of the south, guarded by the Inkazatamarunas, who employed the lithic wisdom, and avoided it, to be found by Gullenes. And the Antarctica, ignored for many centuries by the enemy, would be recently utilized in the 20th century, by the Black Order SS, to guide the Führer towards the abode of the loyal gods, to the spirit of men. The Duke Medinaceli, Don Luis of La Seda, apart from being direct descendant of King Alfonso X, the Wise, was a loyal initiate of the White Fraternity. In his castle is staying Quiblin, in 1484, when he abandoned Portugal definitely to settle down in Spain, and carry out the most important mission of his life, receive the verb of Metatron, the Shekinah, and realize the Holocaust of water, Mem. And, with that power, sacrificed the 3 pagan empires that existed beyond the Tenebrous Sea, unto Eve. In those days, the Gullenes were strongly infiltrated in the Order of St. Francis, that in Huovi occupied the Sanctuary Our Lady of the Ribbon, in Pelos, the Convent Our Lady of the Rivet, in Moga the Monastery Our Lady of the Pomegranate, etc. From these churches, they encouraged in secrecy the operation of a Masonic Templar Lodge, to which were adhered numerous laics of the Andalusian nobility, within them the Duke of Medinaceli. The initiates of the lodge flaunted the title of Templar Knight, and they repeated the ancient rites of the worshipping to Baphomet of the extinguished order, in 1307. This lodge conceded to Quiblin the last initiation and prepared him esoterically to receive the Shekinah. He remained committed to that enterprise in the castle of Medinaceli, until 1486, date in which the same Duke announced to the Catholic kings the presence of the man who will discover for Spain the extensive and rich countries of the West. The sovereigns are dedicated to complete the reconquest, and that will cause, inevitably, that sooner or later fall of Granada in Christians' hands. That would be the awaited sign by Quiblin. Then he will receive the verb Metatron, and his power will be incomparable. Until that moment he will act as a humble explorer, only willing to serve the kingdom. After the fall of Granada, just as Bray and Bishar prophesied it, his voice will be the voice of Eve, and his ambitions will go parallel to his power. And nobody, neither the kings, could resist the requests of who will travel to the gates of the earthly paradise. But it is necessary to know beforehand the plans of Quiblin, familiarize the kings and the court with the future admiral of the ocean. And it is for this reason, in 1486, the Guilens arranged the first meeting of Quiblin with King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella, who were in Cordoba in that moment. As is logic, the Dominicanes also integrated the court, and were disposed to stop any Jew or converted attempting to propose a plan with the purpose of glory and the victory of the chosen people, or the triple holocaust of some unknown populations to Jehovah Satan. Captain Kiev, the Lord of Venus, had revealed 180 years before that would be announced by a Hebrew Quiblin, who will be difficult to stop. So, the Dominicanes were alert, but they ignored completely that the power of Quiblin would be manifested at the end, after the symbolic fall of Granada. And in consequence they not suspected that Columbus, an insignificant and hallucinated man, could be Quiblin, the highest representative of the potencies of the matter. Anyhow, Friar Hernando of Talavera, the Dominicanes, that the kings named to study the exploration proposal of Columbus, gave an adverse ruling, and attempted to discredit the visionary envoy of the Guilens. Nevertheless, the court was infested by Guilens, or Templar Knights, who supported Columbus for years. The Cardinal Pedro Gonzalez of Mendoza, the treasurer of the kingdom, Don Alfonso of Quintlana, the Dominican preceptor of the Prince Don Juan, Friar Diego of Daza, the waiter of the corps, Don Juan Cabrero, the comendador Don Gutierrez of Cardenas, the Franciscan astronomer, Friar Antonio of Mecna, etc. And, with the most effective help of Luis Santangel, the finance minister of the Aragonese crown, some secretary of the King of Aragon, who was a powerful banker and belonged to a Hebrew family recently converted to Christianity. This sinister personage, along with a group of Jewish bankers of Genoa, would be financier of Columbus' expedition in 1492. He would offer a loan of 1,000,000 maravedis, at such low interest, 1.5%, which practically would decide the Queen to authorize the voyage of Quiblin. In 1491, the kings were before Granada, in a huge bivouac, that will give place to the population of Santa Fe. Until they reached Columbus, yearning to contemplate the capture of Granada, and undertake his mission. However, would be Friar Hernando of Talavera, once again, who would frustrate his plans, and prevent his meeting with their majesties. But, the fall of the city is very near, and Quiblin senses the manifestation of Eve. He goes, then, directly to the convent of La Rabida, in Rosbal, a place consecrated to the Great Mother Bina. He waits to the love of the goddess, the Virgin of Miracles, to aid him in the imminence on the happening of destiny. And in La Rabida, is waiting him, the Guilens major staff, to performance the ritual of the Spheric, the ceremony that permits to the intelligence of Bina the deposit of the earthen seed of the archetypical man. Except that this time the love of Bina will facilitate the expression of the Metatron child, a reflect aspect of Keter, the crown of the One. The major leader of the Guilens is Friar Juan Perez, superior of the Convent Our Lady of La Rabida, and supreme priest of the Order of Melchizedek. He is aided in the ritual by the laics, the Templar Knights, Pedro Velasco and Garcia Fernandez, as well as the Franciscan Antonio of Mecna. The Tuanary of 1492 Abdu Abdallah Muhammad XII, gives Granada to Ferdinand and Isabella. Then, the Dominicanus Archbishop Hernando of Talavera demanded the conversion to Christianity to the heretics, Arabs and Jews, otherwise they shall abandon Spain. 15 days later, in La Rabida, is fulfilled the prophecy of Beret and Bishar. Quiblin, wearing the Franciscan habit, is located before the magnificent sculpture of the Miraculous. Such work is usually attributed to the Apostle St. Luke, but really, as was a precise aid in the 30th day, it was carved by a Templar monk, in the 13th century. The Guilens had recently officiated the ritual, and the great sacrificer has received the Shekinah. Quiblin felt as possessed by the universal soul of Eve, and he fell to his knees before the image of the Mother of God, to whom he sees as though it be living, and whose boundless love, as consuming his heart. A prodigy occurred, and the pomegranate of his crosier began to bleed, but Quiblin didn't notice it. Instead he heard the great Mother Bina speaking in the most pure Hebrew. Holy Quiblin, great sacrificer, son of the elder of elders, his creative verb is in thy holy voice. The seminal legis of the Father is in the reasoning of thy mind. But the sweet love of the Mother burdened thine heart with passion. I am Bina, mother of the Messiah. I am Bina, mother of Metatron. I am Bina, the intelligence of God. I am who shall guide my way in the dark sea of the terror. Who will be capable to stop thee, holy, 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 Quiblin? Because of me, thou understandest the mystery of the temple. Because of me, thou receivest the life of Rimmon. To the Father blood thou shalt offer. For me, I want the love. 3 empires are waiting, their prompt destruction. Rivers of warm blood, the Spaniard shall pour. That arrogant race, of Albine distinction, shall be the sharp dagger of the sacrificer. As race, the blood of heathen peoples, they shall offer unto God, but, one by one paired with the survivors, they shall procreate without break, the sons of the horror. That shall be my reward, holy, 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 Quiblin. To the Father, blood thou shalt offer. For me, I want the love. And the proud race of the brave Spaniard shall be submersed in the marsh of the lower passions. What will remain thereof? Holy, 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 Quiblin. Thousands and thousands children of horror. And in those new men my earthen seeds shall germinate better. I do not desire the race, I want the love. Many children I have. Of the mortal men, mother I am. Although my firstborn child the chosen people, the people of the Lord, above the erring men, correspondeth the right to govern without fear. Because for them is the kingdom all captive separate. Beautiful as an angel, harsh as a god, if Shekinah, the wife, the Messiah, Metatron, is it my intelligence that can work with rigor. But if it descendeth to the lower passions, there is no sin on its actions. For it there is forgiveness. It is the joy of the Father, the comprehension of the Mother. It is the chosen people, the people of the Lord. My firstborn child, of all the best. His brothers are cooling their hearts. Receiving the seed of stone, the enemy of love, the infinite blackness, after the death of the soul. Of the frozen blackness, after the death of the body. Of the black ought without creator. The eternal blackness after the final death. Of the naked truth after the caliber death, the black abyss of the depths of themselves. For her cometh punishment. For her will prick the pain, the tyranny of the chosen people, the judgment of the nations, the holocaust of fire, the bleach, the terror. It is the evil on the earth, is the death of the soul, is it cool the stone, is the enemy of love. Many children I have. Of the earthen men, mother I am. I am Bina, I cry, over the cold stone that the Virgin of Agartha popped in their hearts. I am Bina, the mother of Metatron. I shall guide thy path, holy Quiblin, where 3 kingdoms await their prompt destruction. Thou givest blood to the Father, great sacrificer, and keepest for the Mother the warmth of the love. Openest the path soon, for the chosen people, the Redeemer people, and shuttest the senses to the eternal blackness that frees the heart. I am Bina, of my soul mother I am. Bina I am, I shall give thee illumination. I am Bina, who bless thee now. Son of the Ancient of Days, never forget thine ascendancy. Holy, 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 Quiblin. Only the great sacrificer has heard this message, but all present here understand that the Virgin of Miracles has spoken with him internally. And Quiblin, victim of a mystical ecstasy, remains on his knes for hours, absorbed in the contemplation of the Cosmic Mother. The Gulines, finally retired prudently, leaving the Admiral Rabbi plunged in the intimacy of his celestial visions. They, by their part, have seen the Mother of God, crying for her sons who were parted from the law of the love, and her pomegranate bleeding of passion. And they have collected her tears, and her blood, for the glory and victory of the Guleens Church, and the synagogue of Etzeberet, to give testimony of the chosen people Shekinah, the descent of the kingdom Malkout. Days later, the Guleens were disposed to show their secret move, an authentic card under the sleeve. Friar Juan Perez is the confessor of Queen Isabella. He can smooth away all the obstacles to obtain that Quiblin be expressed before the kings. And then, as if the miraculous be interrogating, who could stop you, holy Quiblin? Thus, the Guleen, Juan Perez goes to Granada, and arranged the famous meeting. Luis Santangel, and the Genoese Jewish bankers prepare to finance the enterprise that will be an infallible escape via for his brother of race. And the Dominicanes, taken by surprise, nothing could do to this time, to sabotage the plans of the wide fraternity. In April of 1492, Quiblin, the miserable converted Jew, who shortly before lacked from a tyrant aliment, claims for himself and his offspring the Admiralty of the Sea for the crown of Castile, the viceroyalty of all the discovered lands and countries to be conquered, the tithe of all the goods brought to Spain, booty or commodity, etc. And to such overreaching exigencies agreed the kings in the capitulation of April 1st, of 1492, signed in the campsite of Santa Fe, in front of Granada. Is due to nobody, neither the Catholic kings can oppose the verb of Metatron. Granada, the city of the Jews, has fell in power of the Gentiles, analogously to what happened in Jerusalem, destroyed by General Titus, 1,400 years before. And as then, now will overcome the diaspora of the chosen people. But this time, the dispersion would not endure too much. The chosen people soon will be reunited, and oriented towards its destiny of glory. For at the order of Melchizedek sent Quiblin, the holy ancient has entrusted his verb to him, and the Mother of God will guide his steps. In 3 of August 1492, precisely in the anniversary number 1422 of the Jerusalem siege, Quiblin left Puerto of Pelos, in Huelva, with 3 caravels that flaunted the cross with the order of the temple. The crew is composed mainly by converted Jews, and they carried a lading bow, the Rabbi Luis of Tours, who translates Hebrew, Aramaic, and Arab. Contrarily, no Christian priest traveled in the ships. At his return, in 15 of March 1493, after he closed the door of the Kataba, opened the gates of paradise for his Guleen and Jewish brothers, and have initiated the great sacrifice of the pagan populations, Quiblin went directly to the sanctuary Our Lady of the Ribbon. He must give thanks to the Mother of God, her guide and protection. The lords of Tharsis understood very late that Christopher Columbus was really Quiblin, the supreme priest of the wide fraternity, that Captain Kief had warned. When all was clear for them, there was no remedy. The whole Spain, blind as Perseus, were prepared to be precipitated on the neck of Medusa. They were defeated by a man that they had underestimated since the beginning, a man who, ironically, never occulted his intentions too much, a man, Dr. Sitnigel, who signed SAM, that is to say, Samg, Aleph, and Mem, the initials of Quiblin, which meant Shetna, Avia, and Metatron, the triple immanent principle of the Kabbalistic Rimmon tree. Observe, Dr. Sitnigel, the facsimile of the sign of Columbus that I have attached, and you'll check that to the left there is a monogram formed by the Hebrew letters, Beth, and He, initials of the traditional salute Berish Hashim and then, SAM, in vertical column. The points correspond to an Aramaic indication of word, and the rest letters complete a magical table, or edis, that can be read in many senses, according to the Kabbalistic forms. The S, on both sides of the A, means shadow, the Y, is the initial of Eve, and the X, means Christ. Very clear, it reads, Christo, Ferens, what does, not means, Christophorus, as the Gaulians pretend, but inheritor of the Messiah, due to Ferenc was equivalent to heritage in the Middle Ages. Such initials, SAM, of Quiblin, are also present in the mantle of the Virgin of the Ribbon, according to the instructions that Beret and Bishar gave to the 4 priests, and just as can be seen today in the sanctuary.